this tutorial we're going to look at creating a 2D drawing, and we're going to draw up this block here. So I'm going to start in the draft environment, and we want to start by going to the View tab and turning on the 2D model view, which is real size. So I'm going to start with a rectangle by center. So you can see that we've got 150 by 100. So if I just click down here somewhere, you can see that it's auto-focusing on the dimensions. So I can click and type in the first one and the second and enter for the last one, which is the rotation. So from here we have a circle in the center, and that is 40 diameter. So I go circle by center, and I can hover over these two. You also need to make sure that these two are on, which is the maintain relationships and the relationship handles. So as you can see, I haven't got any relationships on here, so I'm just going to use the trim corner just to add those in, which should have come in at first if I'd had those relationships on. So circle by center, type in the size, and then if I hover over the midpoints, I can get that aligned right in the center. I've also got 6 holes, which are 90 spaced and 60 down this way, so they're 10mm diameter. So click on here, 10 diameter, tab, and now I'm going to use my key in values. So you can turn on your key in value down here with this one here, and I want to reposition the origin. So if I click on there and click on that point there, I can then start drawing it. So if you hover over here, you can see that you can go all text to move yourself into that X box. So we're looking at 90, so it's 30 in from the left hand edge and 20 down. So I can click in here and go 30, tab across, go 20, and you can see that it's sort of giving me that position. So from here I can hit the escape key, click on here, and then I can use a rectangular pattern. So you can see that it's sort of showing where that's going to go. So I want 2 across and 3 down. Offset is going to be 90. In the extraction, and 30 going down, and for the Y direction I'm going to go -30, which will take it down, and place them there. So you right mouse click to finish. So now I can draw, I think I've got the whole sort of outline of that. I can draw this view now. So we're looking at a 150 by 100 again. So I go rectangle by center, click on a point here, hover over here to get this key point, and 100, and then click to place. So this is going to be a C channel, so I need 10mm thickness. So I'm going to use my offset command, set to single, set your distance value, so I can click on these 3 sides, right mouse click and specify the direction, so we want to go that way, and then right mouse click to start again, and then I can use my trim command and just clean that part out there. So if I draw the other side now, this will be 100 by 100 obviously. So again, start at the midpoint, come up and place that. So I've got a chamfer coming down, or sorry, radius coming in on that end. It's 20mm in and it's 15mm deep. So I am going to start with a line, and I'm going to reposition my origin to here, and Alt X. So X is going to be 0 and Y is going to be 15, so that gives me the point either way. So this is going to be 65 in, so I can just type that value, click to place my point. So if you come out to the left and hit the A key, that turns it into an arc. So then when I type in the arc radius, I can click to place that on the edge there. Likewise, I can do a fence selection on that if I hold the control key down to get rid of those extra bits that I don't want. Actually, it might be easier just to pick up on those, and then I can go to my mirror command, and if I click on a point here and just drag it out and place 2 points to define that mirror. So that gives me my point there, just so that it's sort of separated as a front and back area. I'm going to use the split command. So I want to split this line at that point, and as you can see that we've got a collinear relationship on there now, and it's joined at the end here, so it's split it quite nicely. We've also got a 45-degree angle on there as well, so I am going to use the trim command and get rid of that piece. So this is 40 in from the end, so it's going to be 60 long there. So I can pick up on that point and just redefine it as 60, and that will drop it back in nicely. Then if I click on the line command again, my angle wants to be -45, and I can come down to that point and use the split command again and divide that up into 2 separate lines. The advantage of doing this is that I can then click on here and change the line style to hidden, like so. So just leaves the slot. So this is sort of the center line is going to be 40 long, 25 in, and it's centered around the center of the part. So if I draw a line and use my reset origin to here, Alt X, 25, tab across 0, and then I can start drawing over here, and it's going to be to size as I need to. So I'm just going to click on there and change that to a center line as well. So for the slot, actually I've positioned that wrong because it's I split this line and not this one. So I can just use a horizontal vertical relationship from the endpoint to there, and that will just align it to the center. So if I come up here now and do a symmetric offset, and my settings I want to use is 8mm with a 4mm radius and an offset arc. So I'll click on here, click on the center line, right mouse click to accept, and that then drops that on there for me. So onto the other side, again a rectangle by center, and come out here, and again 100 by 100, and click to place it. So I've got a chamfer on the edge here, so if I go up to the fillet tool and just change that to chamfer, so I want a 45 degrees, 40 depth, and obviously that's going to be 40 as well, and I can click on the edge and just define the orientation on there. So that sort of defines that. We can go through and put in the hidden detail as well. So we will draw a line, change the line style to hidden. If I hover over here, I can get that extension to come out to here. Actually, that needs to come in, so I'm going to just draw the opposite end, so you can see the intersection coming up. If you need to change any of these settings and you're not getting your intersection, then you need to come in here and turn on the intersection point. I've also turned on the silhouette point as well, which is not there by default, so you may want to change that. So just hover over it, move across, and I'm coming out to the intersection point here. Hover over this point and draw that in. That's actually wrong, so I need to change these. So this needs to be selecting the line, change it to solid, and likewise on this one as well. So that gives me my definition in here. So doing the center lines, we want to change this to a center line, and if I hit the S key I can do symmetric and just put that in there. Same again, S key, just to define those points. And then S key again, just hover over it and you should be able to get the center point in there, and then I can use the move command. So if I highlight it first, go to move, click on copy, go to center point of the line, and just drop that in like so. Escape out. Again, hold the control key down to select multiple, go to copy and move that across. So right mouse click to reset. I might actually just delete these two and create a line that goes all the way through. S key, just to show that that is like so. Then we're going to have the hidden detail in here, so I'm just going to hover up here, stay on the line command, and just place those center lines in, and you can see that it's highlighting so that it all looks nice and neat. Then we need to go into the hidden line type, and as I said, I turned on the pierce point, whatever, so that I can actually just place these in and get that relationship going. To draw it in nice and quick. We've also got the line here for the 45-degree angle, so if we change back to a solid line and I reposition my origin to here, if I go Alt X, that needs to be 0, tab across, and that's a 40 by 40 chamfer. So I can place that one in there. And this one was 20 in. So again, I will reposition the origin onto this point. Alt X, 0 and 20. And that just allows me to place that in on that point there. So we can actually see that we've generated this quite nicely. Then I may decide that I'd like to put these center lines onto a different layer, so I'll go and create a new layer, call it Centerlines, and I can use the Smart Select command and pick on any element, and you can specify what you want. So I'm after the line type, and that will go through and pick up everything that's got that line type, and then I can transfer that across to that Centerlines layer. Then if I want to, I can create another one for dimensions. This one here is the only dimension on here at the moment, which was that offset command, and I'll say I want to transfer that across. So you can see that the pencil is on the dimension, so that's the active one at the moment. I'm just going to come up here and just drag that up. So you just drag it by the line. If you want to change the position of the text, you can use this point here. And what I'd like to do also is just increase that to twice the normal size. So from here we're looking at placing some dimensions. So smart dimensions, still on 2. I can come in here, 150. That's 40, radius 4, radius 15, that's 100, that's 100. And as you can see, we drew it all to size. So this dimension here, it's set to horizontal, vertical. If I wanted to go a different way, I could use dimension axis or automatic. So I could pull it off in a different direction as well. I'm going to leave this here, and I think that sort of covers most of the dimensions. I've got to give this sort of height here and the ones on here. Then I'm done. So I'm looking at a dimension between here and here, and then distance between here and here. If I hover over this one, you can see it's sort of picking up on the alignment to make it the same. And likewise, I can go from this one to this point on the line, put that in, and then just click on the line for the center and line them up. And that one is the one I split, so I'll dimension that line and drop that in there. So personally, I don't like these being in line, so I'm going to go to right mouse click, go to properties, and under text I can set that to be in instead of parallel, I want it to be horizontal, and then I can just drop this down here to define that. So if I want to copy that, I can go to the copy attributes, and one to copy from, one to copy to, and this one here as well. And I'm going to just move that one, just so it's not so quite over the other dimension. And And then we also need to use the smart dimension for this one, and I'm going to use that copy attributes again. So one or two extra bits on here. I need to specify a number of holes on here. So if I click on here and go into the prefix, and I'm going to type in 6 holes and apply, you'll see that coming in on there. And this one here I wanted to change, so prefix copier, so I want to do times 45 degrees, and that puts that on there. So you can see that we can create this quite accurately. One other thing that I will show is that you can actually click on lines, and there's an option here to show projection lines, so you can see that these are coming in here now, and you can actually use that. So I can use this connect command and connect the endpoint of here to that line, and likewise on this side, so that way if we ended up changing this, the best way of doing it, let's go on here, make that 160. And as you remember from the beginning, I didn't put on my relationships. So if I go undo, you can see that these ones have a horizontal alignment on them. So we can just go on horizontal vertical and just click on the line. Don't click on the points, and it will add in those relationships. So from here, you may want to put this onto a drawing sheet, so we can go back to our sheet 1, and on the home tab we can specify that we want to do a sorry, it's on the sketching tab, a 2D model view, so that temporarily drops me back into here, and I can specify a view that I want to place, and I'll just drop that in the middle. Then it's sort of just a drawing view that can be moved around, so then I can go back and pull in one of the others, and drop that in as well. And if I then right mouse click and go to create alignment, you can do it via drawing view centers, but I'm going to do key points because I know where they're going to be. And as you can see now, these two are aligned. If one moves, the other one's going to move. So we can actually control all of that as a drawing would be under a situation from a 3D model. So if you have a 3D version of Solid Edge, we can take this data and build a model from it. So I'm going to start by hiding the center lines, and that just means that the views that we have will line up exactly as we want them to. So under the Tools menu, you can go Create 3D and choose which template that you want to use, and go Next. So I'm going to take the front view, so you set that accordingly, and I can then fence select, click and hold down the area that I'm after. So we go Next, and that allows me to create extra views. So I can take that view, for example, and I want to set my fold line as being this one here. Then I go Next, and I'll take another view and set fold line as being this one here, and finally I'll take the top view and go next, set fold line, and then I can go finish, and that takes all of those sketches and places them into my 3D drawing. So you can see that we've got them all sort of lined up. If I hadn't taken the center lines out, it would have dropped this sketch on the end of the center line. So that sort of allows me to sort of build from there. So a number of different ways we can do this. We can go and pick up on this. Also taking the center lines out means that it's not broken up into separate sections. So I can take that and just drag it out to meet this point here. From here I can take this area here and just drag that through. No need to specify whether it's going to be added or removed, because it's just giving me the option I want. So you can see that we've got a cross here between two lines, so I can click on this one, hold the control key down and select the other one as well, and I can just drag it through, or I can change my option here to through next, and it just takes it through to the next clear space. Likewise with this one, I could have done that same time by picking it with the other one. So if I hit escape and control again, I can take both options and just drop them through like so. Likewise, I can take these two using the control key to select both and take that through, and there is our completed 2D drawing. And I don't know whether you noticed that most of those dimensions have now become driving dimensions, so we could actually pick up on here and use that to modify the model like so. So once you have a 2D drawing, if you wanted to go into 3D, it can be real quick to generate that model from there.